What if everything you believed about Jesus was intentionally rewritten? Imagine him teaching secrets so profound, so spiritually explosive, that the early church leaders suppressed and concealed them for nearly 2,000 years. These hidden teachings have lain buried beneath history until now. Canon versus forbidden texts. Most Christians rely on the four canonical Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. These texts shape our perception of Jesus as divine, highlighting his miracles, crucifixion, and resurrection. But in 1945, farmers in Nag Hammadi, Egypt, discovered a jar containing 52 ancient texts, now known as the Nag Hammadi Library, that paint a strikingly different picture. These writings, including the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Mary, the Gospel of Judas, and the Apocalypse of Peter, were labelled heretical and banned by the Church because they portrayed Jesus not as a divine ruler, but as a teacher guiding individuals toward personal enlightenment. This profound discovery challenges the traditional narrative and reveals a hidden spiritual tradition. Unpacking the hidden Gospels. The Gospel of Thomas. Unlike traditional Gospels, the Gospel of Thomas is not a story, but a collection of cryptic sayings. One striking teaching says, "If you bring forth what is within you, it will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, it will destroy you." Here, salvation isn't external, but internal, based on self-awareness and inner wisdom. This directly undermined the Church's role as the gatekeeper of divine truth. The Gospel of Mary. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene presents Mary as Jesus' closest confidant, entrusted with secret spiritual teachings. She interprets visions and comforts other disciples, asserting spiritual authority. Early church leaders considered this dangerous, especially the idea of a woman holding spiritual power, and systematically erased her from orthodox teachings, replacing her true legacy with the stereotype of a repentant sinner. The Gospel of Judas. The Gospel of Judas radically reinterprets Judas Iscariot's role, portraying him not as a traitor, but as the disciple who truly understood Jesus' mission. In this text, Jesus instructs Judas to betray him, not as an act of treachery, but as a sacred duty, to free Jesus' spiritual essence from his mortal body. This explosive interpretation threatened foundational Christian doctrines, leading the Church to aggressively suppress the text. The Apocalypse of Peter. The Apocalypse of Peter goes even further, claiming the crucifixion was an illusion. Jesus, according to this text, never physically suffered. The crucifixion was merely symbolic, highlighting the irrelevance of the physical body. This directly contradicted the Church's teachings on bodily resurrection, thus becoming another target for suppression. The Church strikes back. By the 3rd century, the institutional Church saw these diverse teachings as existential threats to their authority and control. Leaders like Bishop Irenaeus condemned these texts as dangerous heresies, publicly branding them as false and spiritually harmful. In his influential work Against Heresies, Irenaeus argued passionately that only the 4 canonical Gospels contained the authentic truth, and he actively campaigned to eliminate competing interpretations. This conflict intensified under Emperor Constantine, who sought religious unity to stabilize his empire. In 325 AD, the Council of Nicaea convened to define Orthodox beliefs explicitly, further marginalizing alternative Christian views. They codified doctrines such as the divinity of Christ, firmly establishing a single authoritative interpretation. Divergent texts and teachings were declared illegal, and systematic destruction of these heretical documents began. Followers of these suppressed teachings faced severe persecution. Their manuscripts were seized, burned in public spectacles designed to intimidate and reinforce conformity. Advocates of these alternate gospels faced exile, imprisonment, and even death. Over time, this intense pressure effectively silenced dissenting voices and ensured that only the Church's sanctioned narrative survived. This orchestrated campaign erased centuries of diverse spiritual traditions, leaving future generations with a narrowly defined version of Christianity. But these forbidden teachings didn't vanish easily. They were hunted, burned, buried, and hidden away. Could there still be explosive manuscripts secretly stored within the Vatican's archives? Could unrevealed texts still be waiting beneath ancient monasteries, ready to disrupt everything we think we know about Christianity? Core secret teachings, inner divinity, and personal awakening. Central to these hidden gospels is the idea of gnosis, direct personal experience of the divine. Jesus taught that the kingdom of God isn't distant. It's within each individual, accessible through personal enlightenment. This empowering message eliminated the need for external authorities, undermining the hierarchical structure of the Church. Elevation of the feminine. Texts like the Gospel of Mary and the Gospel of Philip emphasized feminine spiritual authority and divine wisdom. Mary Magdalene is depicted as a powerful spiritual leader, challenging patriarchal norms and reshaping perceptions of women's roles within early Christianity. The Church deliberately suppressed this aspect, marginalizing feminine authority to maintain patriarchal dominance. Illusion of the material world. Gnostic teachings frequently present the physical world as deceptive, viewing the body as a temporary prison for the soul. In these accounts, Jesus' crucifixion wasn't physical redemption, but symbolic liberation from worldly illusion. This deeply contradicted the Orthodox emphasis on bodily resurrection, threatening the foundation of traditional Christian teachings. Judas reframed. The radical reinterpretation of Judas's role suggests a hidden layer of spiritual truth beneath traditional narratives. Judas emerges as a figure of loyalty and profound understanding, fulfilling a divine task rather than committing betrayal. This subverted the simple moral dichotomy central to the Church's narrative. All of these hidden teachings collectively challenged established church doctrines by emphasizing personal enlightenment, feminine spirituality, and symbolic interpretations that deeply contradicted traditional beliefs. Vatican's hidden archives. The Vatican possesses extensive and closely guarded archives filled with ancient manuscripts, texts, and letters spanning centuries of religious history. Officially, the Vatican denies possessing revolutionary or heretical documents, yet the extremely limited access given to outside scholars only amplifies speculation. Over the centuries, numerous documents considered too sensitive or controversial have been kept hidden, their content known to only a select few within the church hierarchy. Scholars contend that within these vast archives lie texts powerful enough to challenge established doctrines and even reshape contemporary Christian beliefs. The 2006 revelation of the Gospel of Judas caused shockwaves worldwide. What other texts, similarly impactful, might still be concealed? Could they contain radical teachings about Jesus' true message, the nature of salvation, or even the role and legitimacy of the Church itself? Such documents could force a reconsideration of central Christian tenets, permanently altering how Christianity is understood and practiced. Why you should care now. The suppressed teachings of early Christianity carry immense relevance today, especially for those disillusioned with rigid religious dogma and institutional control. Modern spiritual seekers find profound resonance in these rediscovered Gospels, which offer pathways to personal empowerment, spiritual freedom, and a deeper connection with the divine. By reclaiming feminine spirituality and promoting the idea that spiritual truth resides within every individual, These teachings provide a balanced and inclusive alternative to traditional religious frameworks. Exploring these texts today allows for a broader understanding of spirituality, one that integrates feminine wisdom, emphasizes personal enlightenment, and validates individual spiritual experiences. These ancient revelations help heal historical imbalances, offering a vision of Christianity that's empowering, transformative, and deeply personal, one where the divine is accessible to everyone without mediation or authority. Jesus' suppressed teachings reveal a spiritual revolution. The divine power already resides within each individual. They teach us that enlightenment and divine connection are personal journeys, not dictated by religious institutions or authorities. Subscribe to Unwritten Order as we uncover more suppressed truths and forgotten wisdom. Watch our last video, They Tortured the Templars. What they said changed everything. Don't miss it.